I'm doing pop culture, entertainment, that first heard on this channel, a lot of celebrity things, but once in a while, gonna start doing a little bit more about pop culture and entertainment stuff like TV and movies, but more on that later. This is from Bounding into Comics. It's called, and a very long name on their article here, Amazon confirms new review system preventing users from leaving feedback on Rings of Power until 72 hours after its premiere, claims waiting period introduced to stop review bombing from trolls. From September 2nd, 2022. Now, if you are following me and Johnny and Amber and that situation, you know you're being called a troll or you're being called a bigot. Well, the same thing's happening to people who criticize Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and things like that. Now, the criticism can just be your opinion, how you feel about it. And most of the time, no matter what you say that's negative, you are a troll, you are sexist, you are a bigot. So while Johnny Depp and Star Wars and Lord of the Rings are two very separate things, the treatment we see against the fan base is exactly the same, and the people that defend Amber use the same tactics. This is one of the reasons it kind of crosses over, and I saw a similarity. And it begins, in the latest move by Hollywood and corporate America at large for that matter to silence dissent against their narrative acceptable products under the loose guise of fighting internet trolls. Amazon has unveiled a new initiative to delay user reviews for any given piece of content added to their Prime Video service. Wow, doesn't that sound familiar? In order to protect Amber Heard, we've got to call Johnny fans internet trolls. Now everybody knows the Depp vs. Heard case, and if you're on the flip side, and you're coming here and checking this out, and you don't check out my Depp videos, well now you can see that what's happening here is also happening to people defending Johnny. Its existence confirmed to Variety by an Amazon representative on September 2nd after users of all opinions towards the series noticed that their criticisms were not being automatically listed under Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. The company's new system now requires 72 hours to pass after a film or series premieres before users can leave it feedback. So, there's the thing. How do we know they're not looking through all these comments and deleting some bad ones? Editing some bad ones, just to save face for their, like Bounding into Comics correctly says, socially acceptable TV show. According to the trade news outlet, if a review is left within this 3-day debut window, each critique is then evaluated to determine whether it's genuine or a forgery created by a bot, troll, or other breed of digital goblin. There you go. But again, as I'm saying, same thing with people defending Amber Heard is that the Johnny fans are called bots. And I've been telling them this has been going on with Star Wars and other franchises, now Lord of the Rings, we're bots. We can't possibly hate their franchise. It's so good. We can't possibly hate the new material. It's so good. We can't possibly actually not like Amber and think she's guilty. And they talk about Rotten Tomatoes a little bit here. Notably, in support of Amazon's performative fears, Variety pointed to the stark contrast between the series' current 84% critical and 34% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes as evidence that Rings of Power would see, and in fact had already been the victim of review bombing. However, this disingenuous framing of the audience score ignores the fact that while many of the series' negative reviews were left by those who understandably and arguably rightfully rejected the Rings of Power solely for its wanton butchering of Tolkien's vision, a vast majority of them came from fans who, as evidenced by the direct critics of the episodes themselves, gave its premiere a chance and still found themselves disappointed, which is true, and I read some of those. So they might just give it a bad rating without seeing it. However, there is something to be said about that. You don't even have to actually watch it to know, or, okay, let's say make the very, very safe assumption they're not going to stick to Tolkien's original stories, ideologies, and concepts. So for that, I think you do have the right to give a negative opinion, as long as you don't lie and say something like, I've seen it, this was wrong, I didn't like it. If it's not a lie, if it's just like, I'm not going to watch this because I know they're not going to follow Tolkien's ideologies and unoriginal characters. Something like that. That should be fine. but I can meet them in the middle here with what's going on. And this one here is interesting because this person did see it, and they gave it a really, really negative comment saying things like they fell asleep with their wife during the first episode. Galadriel is also really unlikable, really smug, stuff like that. They liked the soundtrack, and they did say they'll give it another chance, but so far, obviously, from these words here, it looked bad. Anyway, bottom line, I can't agree here. Why have a 72-hour waiting period? Just let it roll. Let people say what they're going to say. If you've got a good product, you've got nothing to be scared of. If you're trying to hide something or you don't want people to make up their mind and give it a chance, but then find out for themselves that, well, it's politically acceptable and not exactly what Lord of the Rings used to be, then they might want some safeguards. Anyway, on this channel, I'm doing lots of Depth First Heard, cyber news, stuff like that, but kind of as an extra upload, usually a second or third video for the day. I want to do a little bit more on this pop culture stuff that I used to do when I started the channel. And if you're not subscribed here, subscribe, and if you don't subscribe, I'll be pretty sad about it, but I'll get over it. See you next time.